I know they're going back and forth.
I don't know. Yeah, I don't think they would matter. If he wants to make some money, Floyd wants to make some money.
It's not about the number. If it was about the number, we could have started talk. I would have tell you, I'm not just interested. It makes no sense for me. It's not my what I'm looking at right now.
How many of those shots from Francis can you take? Tyson Fury, if you're talking clean, Tyson Fury only took one. Everything else, Tyson was able to roll with. Big Francis only had to hit him one time. Like, that's a compelling story in my opinion.
Mike Tyson acknowledged that Jake Paul versus Francis Ngannou might not be the most balanced or logical matchup on paper, but he believes it would still be a massive attraction. According to Tyson, the sheer curiosity about who would come out on top makes the fight exciting. He reportedly thinks the unpredictable nature of the matchup would pull huge attention from both boxing and MMA fans, guaranteeing major revenue and worldwide buzz.
I know you're such a big MMA fan. You know, I've been to UFC fights and I see you sitting octagon side. I can't help but wonder, if you had gotten into MMA as a young man, as a teenager, instead of boxing, how do you think your career would have went, Mike?
Hey, I had no idea, but I'm really enthused about the MMA, you know, because I had no idea that Raphael, who's from a background of MMA, would know so much about boxing. I had no idea. You know, only thing I know about great boxing is the great Ed Joffa, who was a legendary boxer who happened to be Brazilian, but never knowing, if not being conscious that he would know that much about boxing.
Do you think you could have learned all the wrestling moves and the takedown defense and could have been a champion in something like the UFC?
I could have done all that stuff. But once someone stepped on my foot, I would have tapped out. My feet are my weak spot.
Francis Ngannou didn't hold back. He said that even offering him a fight with Jake Paul is a complete disrespect to his name and legacy. According to Ngannou, Jake hasn't earned the right to share a ring with someone who has dominated the highest level of combat sports. He added that the offer isn't just insulting. It shows how far today's entertainment-driven matchmaking has drifted from what real fighting is supposed to be.
Think about you to fight Jake to replace Javante. I'm like, who's Jake? You know, like, I was so confused, you know, like, I wasn't expecting that at all. And see, yeah, Jake Paul, you know, he's fighting. I'm like, no, bro, come on, don't disrespect me like that. And then they even say like, they even come out after and say, and what if the number are good? He sent out some number. I'm like, it's not about the number. If it was about the number, we could have started talk. I would have tell you, I'm not just interested. It makes no sense for me. It's not my what.
Chael Sonnen responded to the idea of Jake Paul fighting Francis Ngannou with a mix of amusement and genuine curiosity. He said the matchup wouldn't be fascinating because it's competitive, but because it would reveal how durable Jake really is. Sonnen joked that Tyson Fury, one of the toughest heavyweight champions on the planet, was knocked down by just one clean shot from Ngannou. If Fury, a man who outweighs Jake and has years of elite heavyweight experience, could barely withstand Ngannou's power, then Jake would be in serious danger. Sonnen added that Jake's confidence and willingness to fight opponents far above his level is entertaining, but stepping in with someone like Francis is a completely different world. Jake doesn't have Fury's size, power, or chin, and if Fury could only handle one punch, Sonnen says it's hard to imagine Jake surviving even that.
Just tells this story that Nikista's offering him the fight, but he's just not hearing it that way. Like, all right, you said you need help, and you called me. I'm happy to help you, but you know what is it that I can do? So when Francis finally realizes it, he not only says no, he says he was offended. He said, Jake, you want me to bite Jake? Jake who? He said, Jake Paul. He said, that makes no sense. That's the last thing I would want to do right now. It's the last thing that I'm looking for. And, all right. Now that is a good and comical story. And I think that Jake Paul deserves a lot of credit for that. I would have really liked if that match would have gotten booked. I mean, I think that would just solve so many problems from a storyline perspective. And there's this story going on out there and it has to do with courage. Now, how you ever question a combat athlete's courage, I think, is hard. How you ever question a boxer's courage, right? Where you've only got two things you can do, and they're both involve bludgeoning. You can't even grab a hold of the guy or try to squeeze him. You can only bludgeon and be bludgeoned back. I think you're got an uphill battle to question somebody. But they have been very effective in doing just that to Jake. Hey, you start with this NBA guy, and even those MMA guys, they're not boxers. And then when you get around to the boxers, but they weren't current boxers. Then when you get around to the current boxers, they're not big enough boxers. And I just loved it. When I heard that Francis Ngannou might be going against Jake, I loved it. What's that going to look like? How many of those shots from Francis can you take? Tyson Fury, if you're talking clean, Tyson Fury only took one. Everything else, Tyson was able to roll with. Big Francis only had to hit him one time. That's a compelling.
Francis Ngannou isn't just heavier. He's far more powerful than anyone Jake Paul has ever shared a ring with. Gervonta Davis is a lightweight known for explosive speed and timing. But Ngannou is a true heavyweight built on raw strength and devastating knockout force. Analysts argue that if Jake is serious about fighting Francis, he would have to completely rebuild his entire training approach from the ground up. That means adding significant muscle mass, but also conditioning his body to survive punches from a man who weighs over 260 pounds. Everything would need to change, from footwork and endurance routines to sparring intensity and defensive strategy. Fighting a lightweight demands sharp reflexes and quick movement. Fighting a heavyweight like Ngannou demands durability, balance, and sheer physical strength. Experts insist Jake cannot treat this as just another influencer boxing spectacle. He would need months of specialized preparation under elite coaches if he hopes to stand chance.
Something unique. It would be something incredible. It's the same reason that I would be intrigued by a Jake Paul versus Anthony Joshua fight, although I would never advise Jake Paul to take a Anthony Joshua fight. I wouldn't advise him to take a Francis Ngannou fight either, because as much as Anthony is far better, which we saw when they actually fought, Joshua slept Francis Ngannou quicker than me after 2 melatonin. I mean, it was quick, fast, in a hurry, completely dominant. But we also saw Francis Ngannou go toe-to-toe with the heavyweight champion of the world at that time. Yes, he was out of shape. We understand that. But Tyson Fury on that night got the shock of his life when Francis Ngannou not only went toe-to-toe, but put him down and danced on him. To this day, I think that fight could have gone Francis' way. Point being, there are levels to this shit. Not just in boxing, but in combat in general. And the size difference Francis would have over Jake would be incredible, but it would have been a great event. And a lot of people would have tuned in. Francis, though, is saying that's not happening.
How can they go from Gervonta Davis to Francis Ngannou? Gervonta Davis is a fantastic boxer, but and is a one-shot knockout artist. Come on, the weight different and everything, it make no sense.
It's a good point. I mean, obviously, Francis is right about the weight difference, but it's a good point in general for what do you do next? Jake has sparred guys like Shakur Stevenson, Ray Ford, Montana Love to try to prepare for Tank Davis. And even if you book this fight on December 12th or December 19th, that's still a completely different fight than you were going into. Completely different matchup, size-wise, skill-wise, the things that you're going to need to even try to compete if it's someone like a Francis Ngannou or even an Andre Ward or whoever else, not just the fight styles different.
Boxing analyst and former world champion Tim Bradley revealed that the cancellation of the Jake Paul versus Gervonta Davis fight hurt far more than just the fighters. According to Bradley, promoters, broadcasters, event organizers, and marketing partners all took financial hits when the deal suddenly collapsed. The fight was projected to generate millions in pay-per-view revenue and sponsorship money. But Tank's ongoing legal issues and controversies scared off networks and sponsors who didn't want their brands attached to the drama. Bradley explained that money had already been poured into promotion, production planning, and event logistics, and now those investments are gone. He says the situation exposes just how fragile the business side of boxing really is. When a fighter's reputation takes a hit, everyone who invested in the event ends up paying the price.
Tank, let's lead on Tank real quick. You gotta be the dumbest dude, in the history of boxing, bro. $40 million, dog, down the drain. You gotta be the dumbest dude I've ever seen in the history of boxing, bro. Seriously. I'm like, $40 million, bro. Wealth. Literally wealth, bro. Going down the drain. I don't understand it. I can't make I don't understand it. But I'll tell you this. MVP promotions, whatever the hell y'all call it, most valuable promotions, shit, more like rookie promotions. Yeah, more like rookie promotions. You didn't know what you were dealing with. You had no clue. This has always been down Tank's alley, man. Now, let me just say one thing. You innocent until proven guilty. Ain't no charges been pending on Tank at all. But I'm just saying, this has always came up within the last few fights of Tank's career. Yeah, it has. And MVP, more like RP, rookie promotions. Yeah, y'all should have had a backup plan. You should have had a backup fighter. Yeah, you live and you learn. Oh, absolutely. You live and you learn. You should have had a plan B, just in case this man, Tank Davis, don't show up. Yeah. That's what you should have done. Now you're looking like idiots. I heard through the grapevine the joint wouldn't even sell it. Yeah, because everybody's tired of your bull crap, Jake Paul. Yeah, everybody's tired of that.
Daniel Cormier, former UFC heavyweight champion, didn't hold back when reacting to Jake Paul calling out Francis Ngannou. He called the idea absurd, emphasizing that boxing and MMA are two completely different worlds, with different skills, timing, and mental demands. Cormier reminded fans that Jake has still never faced an experienced, active professional boxer. Most of Jake's opponents have been MMA fighters, celebrities, or retired athletes, nowhere near the elite level he's now chasing. And yet, Jake wants to fight Ngannou, a man who, despite coming from MMA, just went toe-to-toe with Tyson Fury and nearly defeated him in a boxing ring. Cormier questioned Jake's true motives, suggesting this call-out is more about publicity than real competition. He warned that Jake is underestimating what it means to face a heavyweight who can punch through gloves. Ngannou's power is already legendary in MMA, but in boxing, where punches are more focused and precise, it becomes even more dangerous. Cormier cautioned that if Jake steps into the ring with Francis without fully understanding the gap between MMA striking and boxing defense, it could be a very short night for him.
Right? Boxing is much different than mixed martial arts. The target audience might be the same, but the demographics different. The places where people are brought up are different. There's bigger entourages in boxing. It's just a different world in boxing. We've known that from the very beginning. We know that Gervonta Davis was not going to just play to Jake Paul's rules. I still don't know exactly why this thing is falling apart, but it is falling apart bad. It is bursting at the seams. We are almost exactly where we should have never started. This should have never gotten started, but it did. But we are almost now exactly where we need to be in the fight, and that's it being off. It being off. So, the CEO of Most Valuable Productions is a guy named Nikisa Badarian. He said, our team has worked closely with all parties to navigate the situation responsibly. While we will not be moving forward with this event, our plan still remains for Jake to headline on Netflix in 2025. Details regarding a new date, location, a new opponent, and additional bouts will be shared as soon as they are finalized. So, Gervonta Davis is out of the fight. Like I said, guys, we honestly should have never had a fight. We should have never had that fight even on the docket, but it was happening. You knew it had potential to be a nightmare. It turned out to be exactly
MVP Promotions and Netflix have officially confirmed that the Jake Paul versus Gervonta Davis fight is canceled. The event will still go ahead on Netflix, but Jake will now face a new opponent in the main event. Ariel Helwani reacted by saying Netflix made a responsible and ethical decision by removing Tank from the lineup. According to Helwani, the streaming giant cannot promote a fighter who is currently facing multiple accusations of misconduct and mistreatment of women, that he explained that including Tank could have seriously damaged the reputation of Netflix's first major boxing event. By pivoting toward alternative opponents like Ngannou or Ryan Garcia, Netflix and MVP are trying to keep the hype high without attaching themselves to negative headlines. Helwani added that the cancellation is a major setback for Tank's career and public image, a clear sign that major organizations don't want to be associated with him until his legal issues are resolved.
So, Most Valuable Promotions, the promotion co-founded by Jake Paul and Nikisa Badarian, posted this on social media. They posted that they were officially canceling the fight, saying Most Valuable Promotions immediately initiated an investigation. No, I had the wrong one. Okay, I'm reading this one. Most Valuable Promotions and Netflix have announced that Jake Paul versus Gervonta Davis, the one I was reading was the one from late last week, originally scheduled for Friday, November 14th at the Kaseya Center in Miami, Florida, will no longer be moving forward. Quote, our team has worked closely with all parties to navigate this situation responsibly, said Nikisa Badarian, CEO of MVP. While we will not be moving forward with this event, our plan remains for Jake Paul to headline an event on Netflix in 2025. And that is what I'm hearing as well. They want him to fight in December. That is the hope. And they're actively looking for a opponent. More on that in a moment. Details regarding a new date, location, Jake's opponent, and additional bouts will be shared as soon as they are finalized. We thank Netflix, Kaseya Center, Seminole Hard Rock and Hotel and Casino for their partnership. Then there's some information about, fans who purchase tickets. You can see all of this online. I did speak to Nikisa briefly, and I've seen some people say like, hey, and this was his take. Like, I asked him two questions basically, like, did this have anything to do with the ticket sales? He said this was going to be a very, very successful event for them financially. And the other thing was like, Tank Davis has a checkered past. He had a checkered past when this fight was made. What changed? Well, obviously, two incidents, allegations, lawsuit. Since the fight was announced, they at the time felt like this was an opportunity for people to learn about who Tank Davis is, for him to show the world that he was a changed man, all this stuff and more. And that didn't happen, and they felt like they had to cancel the event. For the record, I feel like this was 100% the right call. You can't be a promotion that is so heavily invested in women's boxing and work with a guy who has allegations and lawsuits pending.
A major question circulating in the boxing world is why Gervonta, Tank Davis, and his management remain completely silent about the serious allegations against him. Analysts point out that silence often creates the perception of guilt or avoidance. If Tank truly believed he was innocent, many argue that he, or at least his legal team, should have released a public statement addressing the accusations. Instead, the lack of response has fueled doubt, pushed sponsors away, and intensified public skepticism. Some commentators believe Tank's silence may be strategic, possibly based on legal advice to avoid media discussions while investigations continue. But they also acknowledge that this lack of transparency has severely damaged his reputation. Fans who once stood behind him are now questioning his character, and major networks have begun distancing themselves. The situation proves how important public image is in today's entertainment-driven boxing world. Even without a verdict, perception alone can destroy opportunities, and the canceled Jake Paul fight is the clearest example of that.
She said, and it's really she said, because as of me recording the video, I haven't even heard Tank or his team respond to these said allegations, right? And some people will say, oh, but he has these allegations in the past. The last time I checked, we have Miranda rights. They say guilty, they say innocent until proven guilty, but we know, especially for black men in America, it's really the opposite. For most people, but definitely black people, right? It's guilty until proven innocent. Like, you have to prove that you didn't do what's being leveraged again. And this is not copping pleas for Gervonta Davis. This is merely the truth, right? These are allegations. And from a business perspective, I understand, and I've told you in the past, companies, big corporations and companies, S-corps and big companies that are worth billions and trillions, like Netflix, they are not trying to get their hands dirty. There's no one person that is perhaps big enough for them to ultimately mess up their money and basically allow a snowball effect in what they got going, right? They're not going for that.
Brendan Schaub reacted to Jake Paul calling out Francis Ngannou by calling the idea a circus act. He argued that the matchup is even more unrealistic than the canceled Jake versus Tank fight. According to Schaub, Jake has built his career around creating spectacle, but this time he might be pushing it too far. Ngannou is one of the most dangerous punchers on the planet, a man known for ending fights in seconds. Putting him against a YouTuber turned boxer, Schaub says, turns the sport into pure entertainment rather than legitimate competition. He compared the matchup to a mismatch designed solely for views, clicks, and pay-per-view sales. Schaub did give Jake credit for his business hustle and promotional instincts, but insisted that some fights simply shouldn't happen for the sake of fighter safety. In his opinion, Ngannou's power is far too extreme for Jake, and the event would end up being a one-sided spectacle rather than a real sporty contest.
Versus Pacquiao, part 2.
Hate it.
It's like actually in the works.
Hate it.
It's okay.
And Jake Paul's looking for a new opponent for
Yeah.
Gervonta Davis, right?
Yep.
Gervonta Davis, dude, but quit getting in fucking trouble, dude. How many times? You ever look at his rap sheet? What the fuck, dude?
He sent an offer to Ryan Garcia.
That'd be interesting.
Mhm.
God, who the fuck's gonna take that on about a week's notice? Might be 2 weeks. Is it the 12th?
So it's supposed to be the 14th.
Today's the 3rd. You have 11 days. To find a replacement, I've canceled Francis and Nate Diaz are 2 of the no. Francis?
That'd be ridiculous, obviously.
That would be awesome. The Nate Diaz would eat shit on there. They've already fought, and it still didn't do great. I mean, if Nate wants to get paid, get your bag, dog. I get it. Francis would be fucking wild. Oh, it says other names are Ryan Garcia. I could see him doing it. Terrence Crawford.
No way.
Francis is my. I'd love to see Francis Jake. If that bad boy's an actual.
That's it for today's video. Thanks for watching. Stay tuned for more updates, and don't forget to like, subscribe, and drop your thoughts in the comments below.